Yes, good evening, people. A nice, chilled, relaxed day with nothing going on in the world of Spurs, apart from Mickey van der Ven on the overlap, dropping some nuggets of information, and Spurs are looking at bringing in let me get the terminology right. What was the exact terminology? It was a head of football operations, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. It's all good fun, isn't it? Look, um, I think that everyone in the Spurs community should take a breath, take a breather, take a second, and everyone calm down. It's just all a bit mad, isn't it? It's all a bit mad. Um, I've tried doing some thought-provoking videos where trying to get people away from just saying Thomas Frank out, but can't really get too many people with intelligence enough to have a conversation. It's very, very interesting. Look, I get it. I get it. Right. It's Spurs. We're normally in a bit of a mess, aren't we? We're normally in a bit of a funk. We're normally in a bit of a catch-22 situation. I know people were expecting Frank to come in and be amazing. As I said in the summer, I never thought that was going to happen. I thought we were going to have a really tough year, and I said we need to get through that year. I said we need to get through that year. We need to go through some bad things and come through the other side. But unfortunately, we are 4 months in, and people don't want to go through anything bad. People want instant success. And I'll say the same thing that I've said to many people. I genuinely, and this is what a lot of fan bases that are not Spurs understand. I don't rate this squad is just not good. We keep talking about it being good. Um, it's not. We don't have players that anyone's scared of. We don't. We have a midfield full of children or players who are past it. We have fullbacks who aren't really fullbacks. We've got no left winger. We don't have a good striker at the football club. So, as I said in the summer, I think it was a poor window, and I predicted pain. And we're going to have to wait and see what the owners do. But people are saying, people are saying, Chief Tribal, don't you dare be negative on Archie Gray. I mean, I haven't even mentioned Archie Gray yet, but yeah, he can go. I don't care about him. Look, and unfortunately, this is it's years and years and years of poor management, years and years of poor planning, years and years of a poorly run football club. And unfortunately, whether it's Frank, whether it's the next guy, somebody's going to have to go through a lot of pain. And as I said, I don't care who that is, but whoever that is going to have to go through it. And if that person has to go through it, so do we. And I feel that in the fan base at the moment, I feel like there's this notion that that a manager comes in and makes all of this better with the group of players we've got. And part of it for me was with the fresh start in the summer was like, what are we building? Like what are we building? What's the plan? And as I said, I didn't think it was a good summer at all. I don't think we bought anywhere near what we wanted. I think we went cheap. We went with 2 loan players when we could have bought, which means that how does the manager build for the future? And as I said, I know people keep asking me why I'm not more upset or frustrated. I just don't think this is a good squad. I know loads of people seem to think that this is a really good group of players. I don't see it. I genuinely don't. I've supported Spurs. I'm sure many of you have. I've supported Spurs for 40 odd years. And I almost want to see him go. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is I don't want him sacked, but I almost want to see him go so that these fans realize when the next manager comes in that this manager is also dealing with Papa Sarr, Bergvall Gray, Basuma, Bentancur, like Odegaard, Tell, Charlison, Johnson, like Mawani. I don't see where the quality is. I don't see where the quality is in a squad of 24, 25 players. there are 5 I would keep, 6 if I include James Maddison, who's out injured. And that's a real. I don't get any enjoyment in saying that. That's not me backing Frank. I will say the exact same thing. And I make this promise to you guys right now, to you guys and girls, right? I make this promise to you right now. If Frank is sacked now and a new manager comes in, whoever it is, I'm going to say the same thing. I don't rate the squad. They're going to need loads and loads of windows. They're going to need years to sort this mess out. I don't think the fans realize just how poor this squad is and how badly it's been put together. I see people saying things like, yeah, we're better than Villa. We're better than this. We should be battering these 3 or 4-0. And I look at it and go, I feel the way I did in the early 90s. And again, some of you might not be old enough to remember that. But I remember those squads when I was like, there's not really a lot there. But at least in those squads, we always had like a Teddy Sheringham or a Jurgen Klinsmann, right? We had a Ginola. Now I look through this squad and go, where's the spark? Where's the catalyst? Where's that really good player that's going to get us out of a hole? And I don't see it. And that's why I'm very open with the whole Frank conversation. Sack him, don't sack him. But all the same people will see. You will see when a new manager comes in, if they are not given players, right? If they are not given players of a certain level, this is what we are. I've seen the way our fans talk about Bournemouth and Brighton and Brentford and Fulham, and I don't think we're much better than these clubs, if better at all. I don't look at this squad. I think when Maddison and Kulu are fit, I think it changes lots. But right now, I look at it and go, whoa. And I think this is the key thing for me. This is everything I want to talk about today is about a plan. There's got to be a plan. And we can use name. We can talk about Ange and Conte and Jose and Frank. And there's no plan. I don't see what we're building. I don't see, even in the summer, it felt very scattergun. Even in the summer, like, when Mawani last out of the window, boom, loan. It was like, well, if you wanted a striker, why wasn't a striker bought in the summer? It felt like there were lots of gaps at left back, at left wing. It's like, why didn't we? It just didn't feel like there was a plan. And that is what, Stanley, have you lost your tune? What are you looking for? Sorry, Stanley's lost his tune. And that for me is what I want to see. That is what I want to see moving forward. What's the plan? And I don't know about you guys. I've got so bored of the point scoring of Ange, Frank, Conte and Poch, and you said this and you said, isn't it a bit boring? Like, at what point do we realize we're Tottenham Hotspur fans? You can't have a conversation now without somebody mentioning a previous manager. Let's be fair. Spurs have been a bit of a mess for a very long time. And the fans are falling straight back into the same pattern. The club, are they going to go into a different pattern? We don't know. We haven't had a window yet with this new look set up. When we say new look set up, as I said on my video earlier, that's new manager, new coaches, new CEO. And again, see, this is what annoys me. People like this will just get blocked. No one's defended Frank. See, people like this shouldn't be allowed the internet because they've just got no ability to use their ears. I'm trying to make my channel a mature channel where we don't have to just constantly have stupid idiots like you, unfortunately, right? And absolutely this, yeah, absolutely. I'm worried for him. I'll be honest. I'm worried for him. I'm worried for whatever manager comes into this. And I always give the example, don't I, of Xavi. I always give the example of Xavi Hernandez. Really like him as a manager, but Xavi Hernandez doesn't play with players at the level we've got. Xavi Hernandez plays with players that are technically competent and that can pass a football. Xavi Hernandez comes in to manage Tottenham. You're going to see him really struggle. You're going to really see him struggle because it's going to take ages to implement what he wants and bring in better footballers. And that's not Xavi, that's everybody. Seeing people today all over the internet talking about Glasner, like not signing a deal at Palace. Well, Glasner is another one who plays quite pragmatic. Dude, you're just going to get blocked. See you later, mate. Glasner's another one who's pretty pragmatic in the way he plays, right? So if we're asking for Glasner, then I want to know, what are we asking for? Is it style? Is it caliber? Like, what are we asking for as fans? And this is where I'm so confused with this fan base. I don't think we know what we want, because we don't want any time to build. We want no time to build. We can see that. I mean, if you're only willing to give somebody 4 months, then we don't want to build, right? Because what we're saying is, you've got to build, but you've got to be great immediately, right? So what do we want? Which players could be inspired? So here's the question. So this is a group of footballers that finished 17th, and for the last 2 years have lost 42 games of football. So when we say things like this, which of these players are you expecting to be inspired? Which of these players do you rate? Because this is someone, Eugene, I like you, but you're someone who tells everybody that all the players that get mentioned, they're not good enough for Spurs. Who are you rating at Spurs? Who are you inspiring? We buy poorly. We don't buy ready players, and then we want him to inspire them. Well, this is a group of players that lost 26 games of football last season, and we want them to be inspired like that. Maybe it's ability. Maybe it's ability. And maybe fans have just overrated these players. As I said, for 2 years, what has anybody seen in these players for years to go, cool, they're really good and we should be getting more out of them? I don't think they're that good. And you guys know I said this in the summer. This is why I'm not surprised. As I said, everyone was raving about the window. Look I don't think we did anything we needed to do. I don't think we did what we needed to do at all. And that's not about Frank. That's about the squad. Everyone only seems, but again, when you're saying they're all internationals, every football club is full of internationals. We're not top 4 level. We're not top 6 level. We're a very mediocre squad, Eugene. We're a very mediocre squad. But if we're going to say they're all internationals, even the teams in the relegation zones look at Wolves. How many of Wolves' players are internationals? Most of them. It doesn't really mean anything, does it? So, again, I'm not going to die on a hill for Thomas Frank, but be prepared. When people like Eugene say all these things about Frank, they're going to have to say it about the next manager. They're going to have to say it about the next manager after the first 16 games of that manager's tenure. That next manager is going to have to come in, hit the ground running, or fans like Eugene are just going to go, no, he's not good. Right? He's not good. There's not a single good striker at this football club. There's not a single good left winger. There's not a single good midfielder other than Paulinho. What is it that people are expecting? What is it? Why is it when we go, oh, we're better than Bournemouth, we're better than this? Based on what? Like, on what are we better than these clubs? And that's where I think when you speak to fans who are not Spurs fans and they don't have skin in the game, they all think we're arrogant because we overrate our players. Hear people going, what a great back four. I don't think it's a great back four at all. I don't know what's great about this back four. Right? I don't think this is a great back four at all. Sure, but Mitch, you've got to have the players to do it. Look at the midfield we've got. What patterns are you going to see with this midfield? Do you know what I think's funny? Do you know what I think's hilarious? And where a lot of people have got what they asked for? How many people? Bentancur, Paulinho doesn't work together. Anyone see those stats flying around today? In the games Bentancur and Paulinho have played together, Spurs don't concede goals. They hardly concede goals. Why? Because Frank was protecting a very fragile team. People didn't want that. People didn't want it. Oh, he can't play both of them together. You've got to take one out. Ever since he's taken one out, look how many goals we concede. almost as though he knew what he was doing. But fans didn't want it. Fans didn't want it, right? Fans complained. It's boring. 2 defensive midfielders. How many goals we weren't conceding? Am I the only one that can see that correlation? So when Paulinho and Bentancur played, anyone remember us getting ripped wide open? Anyone remember us conceding 3 goals in a game? Now look at the game since. Look at every game since he stopped that 2 in the midfield. Look how many goals we concede. But everyone's more worried about, I want to see Gray. I want to see Sarr. I want to see Bergvall. So we got what we asked for. I didn't, but as a collective, fans got what they asked for. And then go, oh my God, now he's not even sorted out the defense. Well, he sorted the defense out. He sorted the defense out, but people didn't like it because it wasn't attacking enough. See, but again, these are just silly excuses. This is just silly excuses. What do you mean? We played Aston Villa. We played Man City, right? 2 of the top 3 couldn't put loads of chances away against us. So no, this is not true. This is not true. Look, as I said, I've been a Spurs fan for many, many years, and I've seen we're just about to go around in circles. And I've never seen a fan base less deserving of good things. I haven't. I'll say it. You've got to have time. You've got to have time. You've got to have some pain. And we are in a position where a new manager can come in tomorrow. Fine, we'll get behind him. What does he get? What does he get? 20 games? 16 games? I mean, if that's where we want to be as a club. And again, this is a manager. We've never seen this manager have a full squad. We've not seen this manager have a left winger. Like we've not seen the manager have a left winger. His centre forwards are Mawani, who doesn't score goals, and Richarlison. He's got no left winger. He's got no ball playing number 8. And as I said, this isn't about Frank. The next manager, if a new manager came in right now, the new manager's going to pick up that same scenario. So we'll all be sitting here going, well, this new manager needs X, Y, Z. And don't we want to get to the point where I want to see what a manager does with his own players and judging with his own footballers? At the moment, we're judging a manager who's picked up a squad that finished 17th. Well, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. He had his number 1 striker in Solanke that he signed, and he had Son on the left wing. So that's not true at all, Rob. That's not true. We can't just make things up, Rob. Sorry. He had Son on the left wing, and he had Solanke, who was his signing that he said he had chased all summer. So he's got that. I want to see this manager backed. I want to see the next manager backed. Like, I can't take anyone seriously that says things like he won Nish Pie. I mean, I can't take that seriously. We are, again, I mean, you would think this guy knows me. You never said the players were poor under Conte and Ange. Yeah, yes, I did. Yes, I did. And as I said, Sam, the problem with this, right, is, again, you're always associating it to managers. I'm looking at the squad. I'm looking at Tottenham Hotspur that I support. I don't support Conte. I don't support Ange. I don't support Frank. Right? We need to build the squad. And of course, I said the players are poor under Ange. They weren't 17th poor. Of course, the players were poor. But he had Maddison. He had Son. He had Solanke. He had Kulu. Right? I think the Ferguson one's always slightly skewed because obviously he'd won trophies before at Aberdeen. It was a different era, but look, I get you. Look, I unfortunately, managers don't get that long. But I always ask this. What is the expectation and what is the time frame? Because if we're going to judge on 4 months, we're going to be here every 4 months. And yet you're still here and you're paying me by being in the chat. Thanks, Sonny. You're paying me. I'm not paying you, mate. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Everyone give Sonny is this the guy that came onto my show and then couldn't string a sentence together? I think when I gave him the link. So for me, as I've said, what I find funny is when I try and explain to people my mortgage, what have you got to do with my mortgage, mate? And again, so unfortunately, this is people who don't understand football because 4 months is not plenty good enough. He's had one. But you're still paying me every time you come in and be rude. Notice how quickly you went from A to Z. How quickly you got rude with me. Look how quickly you got rude with me. It's so mad. Like what? I don't understand why. Look, I'm not being rude to you. Why are you getting rude? I said with a fully fit squad, it could finish 6th. But without that fully fit squad, I think it'll be anywhere between 7th and 10th. 6th if everyone was fit, but Maddison's not, Solanke's not, Kulu's not. So, but we are only 16 games into the season. So, you know, we can't say where we're going to finish or where we're not. We don't know. So I really don't know where we're going to finish. But for me, the important thing this season isn't where we finish. Dude, mate, what do you want? Look, I'm going to block you. I don't know what you want. You come into this show. As soon as someone's rude to me, you jump on the bandwagon. Dude, look, listen. If you want to be here and talk football. But you've got to grow up a little bit, right? You've got to grow up, all right? Come on, just grow up a little bit. As I said, for me, this season, the main driver isn't about where we finish in the league within reason. The main driver for me was to see, are the board going to back? Right? Are the board going to back? Because I'll say this, I'll say it again. If they don't back a manager, it doesn't really matter who the manager is. Right? It doesn't really matter who the manager is. If they're not going to back, they didn't back in the summer. Are they going to back in January? Now Levy's gone. I'm hearing that will be the case. We'll see. But I'm at the stage where I don't care who the next manager is. At this stage, I don't care. Whoever it is, they need time. But you got fans who want pragmatic in Glasner. You got fans that want exciting, so to speak, in Xavi. But whoever of those comes in is going to need years and time. This is not about Frank. And this is what I can't make people, some people like that Sam in the chat, they relate everything to a manager. And Tottenham, I want to see what are the football club going to do. Doesn't matter if the manager is called John Smith. Doesn't matter if it's Frank. Doesn't matter. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because whether or not I like a manager, you like a manager, none of it means anything if they don't back the manager. But they bought him in. They paid for him. You've got to back him. And if you don't, what does that say for the next guy? And the next guy, I'm going to put the same emphasis on the next guy. Whoever the next guy is. Glasner, Iriola, I've chuck him whatever name you want. That next guy is going to need years as well. And that next guy won't be given years either. Everyone in the chat pretends, yeah, but they will if they won't. They won't be given years. At some point, Sam, see you later, mate. Mate, listen, I've given you a chance. You're still doing it. You're still doing it. I didn't say the manager can do no wrong. See, you see the problem that you've got here, people. Unfortunately, people like Sam are making up what I've said, not actually listening. I get it. Unfortunately, some people aren't very intelligent and some people have, listening problems. I have not once said Thomas Frank can do no wrong, but this guy's just making it up. Listen to what I'm actually saying. If you listen to what I was actually saying, it would stop you being so abusive and actually stop you telling lies. Listen to what I'm actually saying. It's so difficult when people don't listen. We can sack a manager all we want. The next manager is going to pick this up. And I have been asking all along, who is that manager that we're going to get behind next? And how long are they going to get behind him for? Because that new manager coming in is going to look at this new manager coming in. Not saying that he's not been sacked, but he's going to go, oh, God, look at my left wing options. God, look at my midfield options. I've got children. I've got no ball player midfield. Oh, look at my fullbacks. They're not really fullbacks. Or look at my goalkeeper. Hang on, where's my goal scorer? And we're just going to go round and round again. And for me, if they're going to judge a manager on getting a few permanent signings and a couple of loan signings, it's a dangerous precedent. It's a real dangerous precedent. And I hope the new board aren't like the fans. I hope the new board aren't like the fans. I hope they do what Ratcliffe has done at Man United and said, this is my guy. Because what that's doing is putting the onus on him as the owner. Hey, this is my guy. I take the blame for this if it doesn't work out. Oh my God. If you keep doing it, you're going to get blocked. I have not said Frank is not. Sorry, everyone. I apologize about Sam. He really isn't very intelligent. He does this all the time. No one's heard me say that. We've got to remember, they've just paid 17 million to change managers in the summer. 17 million. They are going to have to pay, another 10 million to sack him? Maybe more? I don't know. How long has he got left on his contract? They'd have to sack all of his coaches. Do you really think? Do we really think? See, I'll tell you what, guys, another one that doesn't listen. No one said this. Listen. Again, Matt isn't very intelligent either. It's really difficult because some of these people don't listen to what's being said. Let's ask Matt. Matt, which manager are you bringing in right now? Tell you what, here's the hypothetical to Matt. Right now, I'll tell you what, come on, Matt. But right now, Spurs sack Thomas Frank today, the 16th of December. Who are you bringing in tomorrow? How does it affect the transfer window? What coaches you bringing in with that person? How much is it going to cost to sack Frank and then pay out a new manager? If we can get some good answers to those questions, right? Then tell me, how long are we going to give that manager? Are we going to back that manager? So again, when I see Xavi, I like Xavi. I like Xavi as a manager. You think Xavi's going to rock up and be able to play Xavi's type of football with these footballers? It will take years, mate. It will take years. It will take years. And some fans are prepared to go through that. Again, look how rude. Look, so I'm a clown. Sam, stop it. All right. Of course, it's up to the sporting directors. Think about the cost as well. Are they going to turn around? Unlike the fans, they're going to be thinking about their 17 million investment. They're going to be thinking about, hang on, we've just spent 17 million on this. Then we're going to have to pay 10 million to get rid of Frank. That's now 27 million. Then we might have to pay to get a new manager out. You might be looking at 40 odd million in 6 months to sack 2 managers and bring in 2 managers. And that's a good point. What makes us think Xavi? Absolutely. Because maybe, just maybe, again, just devil's advocate, just asking questions. All I ever try to do on my channel is ask questions and spark debate. And unfortunately, then I just get loads of rude children who are too scared to come on. Like Matt, get me on, get me on. You ask him to come on. No, I can't come on. No, I can't come on. Because they're scared, right? They can't put an elegant conversation forward. For anyone that's actually listened, I'll say this to the likes of Matt and Sam. I said, fine, sack the manager. Come on, sack the manager. What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? And if there isn't a plan, what do? There's got to be a long-term strategy. And the fans can only think about 4 months. That's fine. We're fans. But hopefully the board and the owners think about longer than 4 to 5 months. Hopefully the board and the owners go with someone long enough to back them, see them through a difficult time, and we can grow. Again, as I said, you know, when I said, guys, earlier, I told you, couldn't answer a single one of my questions, right? Couldn't answer a single one of my questions, but can only go back to last season. Fans like this don't want to look forward. Look forward. Isn't it funny how you can't come on and cry like a little bitch? You're a little bitch, mate. Go on, little bitch. See you later. Go and cry somewhere else, little bitch. As I've said, there are some that want to have a sensible conversation and there are others that don't. And the sensible conversation at Spurs is this is a big issue at Tottenham. The whole club. What top manager is going to want to come to Tottenham Hotspur if they see that we sack within 4 months? Why would they come here to manage a squad that isn't a top squad? Why? And this is the problem. When our fans are talking about, we want Klopp, why would he want Tottenham? Why? Because top managers like Klopp are going to come in and go, what is this? What do you expect me to deliver with this? Now, as I've said a million times, sack him, bring in a new manager, do what you've got to do. But if you do, how long does the next manager get? Unfortunately, you've got dickheads like Matt who don't understand football very well. Unfortunately, that's the problem. And this is going to become the problem, Spiky T. If you get rid of a manager, after 4 months, what does it say to the next manager coming in? Because now at this stage, we'd be Watford. And again, this goes down to this complex our fans have of thinking we are bigger and better than we are. Every time we play a team, we go, we'll batter these. And I look at it and go, based on what? Like, what? Because our name is Tottenham Hotspur. Our name is Tottenham Hotspur in name, right? This squad is not what I consider a Tottenham Hotspur squad to be. And you're still here paying my wages. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. As I said, every time you pretend you're going to come on, you never do. You shit your bed. It's all right, mate. One day you'll man up a little bit and come on. And I think this is a great comment from Curly. I think this is a great comment. And this is the difference, Curly, between people that need to have something in their life right now versus building and growing towards something. Whether that's Frank or not. And this is the thing these people can't understand. It's not about Frank. This is bigger than Frank. This this is bigger than Thomas Frank. This is about Tottenham Hotspur. And this is what I can't get so many people to understand. I can't get people to understand that Thomas Frank is just the person currently sitting on the seat. The bigger issues at Tottenham Hotspur are huge. And we seem to think, and this is what I mean, there's so many people that think this squad is good, and it's not. What opinion have I given, Jim? I'm talking about the situation at the football club. What opinion has actually been given from me? The difference is, Jim, is that we will be sitting here again in 4 to 6 months and someone like you will say the same thing. So what do we do? What do we do? If anyone can tell me what we do, if anyone can tell me the plan of sacking the manager now and bringing in a new one, who is that guy? Because let me tell you this, Jim, right? 2 months ago, when you asked, when this question was asked, when you asked who should be the next Spurs manager, everyone at that moment was going, Iriola. Iriola. He was the guy. We've got to get Iriola. Look how well Iriola has done. Fine. Now, when you ask who should be our manager, no one's talking about Iriola anymore because he's lost one in 10. And that's the problem. We can all jump on a bandwagon as to who's doing well at the moment. But whoever comes into this football club needs years. Needs absolute years. And it's not unlimited. You can't just be bad unlimited. You've got to give people their players, don't you? See, and this is said by someone that's never worked in football. Forget the tactics for a moment. You can't just forget the tactics. All of this, I keep hearing around the internet, inspire belief. The players aren't good enough, mate. It's really that simple. Let me show you how. When we play Brentford and Slavia Prague, 2 clubs we're better than, it shows. As soon as you play proper players, you see how poor our players are. That wasn't just this season. That was the last season as well. Look at the game against Nottingham Forest. Look at Nottingham Forest's midfield compared to ours. They bossed it. They absolutely bossed it. Gibbs White, Sangare and Anderson compared to Bentancur and Gray. What? That's not about inspiring belief. That's about having better footballers. And again, this isn't about Frank. The next manager will come in, have a new manager bounce. He'll inspire belief for 3 or 4 games, and then we will drop off again because the footballers will naturally default to not being good enough. But the thing is, people don't want to see the last 2 years of evidence of how bad we've been, apparently as an evidence. Right? If you look at the last 2 years, in the last 2 calendar years, right? Sorry, in the last 2 years, Tottenham Hotspur have lost 42 games of football. That is unheard of. Now, if that isn't down in big part to the ability of the players, then what is? What is? I don't know what's going to make. I want to know what is going to make people sit up and see how average this team is. What will it need to take? Will it need to take for Xavi to come in and we don't see improvement? Will it need to see Glasner come in and we're still where we are? What will it need to take for people to realize this? Because this has been years now. Years and years and years. 42 defeats in 2 years is huge. It's absolutely huge. This downward trend has been happening for a very, very long time. But we go, no, who's going to get the best out of these players? At what point can we turn around and say, maybe the players need to change? I'm just asking the question. I just think this is ridiculous. But look, at the end of the day, Alex, if he's the manager, you've got to give him money. It's that simple. You back him or you sack him, right? It's got to be that simple, Alex. It's got to be that simple. You back him or you sack him, right? You back him or you sack him. You can't have a manager in post that you don't then give money to. So when you look, like, I know all everyone wants to talk about is last year. Isn't everyone fed up now with where the club is? Isn't everyone fed up with how we've been run? Isn't everyone fed up with the caliber of these players? Look at the players we've got to bring on in games. Hell, Odeber, Davis, Bergvall. Look at the names we're bringing on compared to other clubs. Look at the names we've got starting. Gray, Bentancur, Charlison, Wani. Like, what are we? What have we been built as? And unfortunately, I made an analogy the other day. I don't know if this is a good analogy or not, but I liken Spurs to somebody who has been so bad to their body for years, eating shit, drinking shit, piled on stones, loads and loads of weight, and has gone from 10 stone to 17 stone. And then that person starts a diet and thinks that in the first 3 months, they're going to lose the 7 stone they put on. You can't erase all those years of badness in 4 months. You can't. It doesn't matter who you are. We could have Pep Guardiola as manager. You can't erase that. And if you think about it, I know it sounds silly analogy, but you can't just cause damage to something over and over and over again and then expect to see change like that. And that's what our fans have done. And this is what I had this conversation in the summer. And I said, this is the problem. We are going to be in for a tough year and everyone will not accept it. No, we will. It's a new project. No one will accept it. Doesn't matter that it's Frank. It doesn't matter if it's Iriola. And I, for one, I don't know about some of you, I'm just so tired of it. I'm just so tired of starting again, starting again, starting again, starting again. So for me, Spurs are going to do what they're going to do, right? Spurs are going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter. We can talk and talk and talk, but Spurs' board will do what they want to do. And if they sack Frank, there'll be many people who are very happy. Some will be unhappy. For me, it won't be about being happy or unhappy. It'll be about, okay, cool, you've sacked him. Now what? Let me just say, by the way, can I just make this very clear, guys? This guy keeps coming on saying things I've never said. I mean, what are you talking about? You've never blamed the board or director of football before. What do you mean I was ENIC out for about 15 or 17 years, you donut? What are you talking about? Please, everybody, just ignore this guy. These are not things that I've... how can he possibly know everything I've ever said? I'm live every day. Those of you that know me know that I was ENIC out. This is ridiculous. I've said before many times, Paratici for me, I've got huge question marks against the bloke. Right? Lang, don't rate him at all. So please, please, please don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to this guy because it's truly not real. I think that is where I'm at. Right? I know, and you know, he's going to get sacked at some point. course, all managers get sacked. But I just want to see how we react. I want to see what we do. People are saying, yeah, just sack him. But there's got to be a plan. And I think the difficulty that we've got here as well is, let's play out some scenarios, right? If Thomas Frank was sacked, let's say, listen, I think Spurs are going to lose to Liverpool. And look, Liverpool just turning their form around in time, aren't they? They haven't lost for 5 and yeah. Let's say we lose to Liverpool, and that will be what, the 17th, 18th, what's that, the 20th maybe? 20th, 21st, 20th, right? And we sack him. So we're sacking him just before Christmas. Can I ask, for those people that are saying sack him now, how do you lot think that affects the January transfer window that the club are planning for right now? Just a question. Anyone in the chat, how do you think it affects the transfer window that we would have been working towards since September? So we spent September, October, November, December. I don't know who they're talking to. We'll see. How do you think that affects it if you sack a manager a week before the transfer window opens? Doesn't that then give Enoch the get out of jail free card? Doesn't it? Absolute Finley. Doesn't it throw the actual transfer window out the window? Because then you're saying you've got a manager that comes in and they go, okay, we've been talking to these players. Well, he wouldn't be in my plans. I don't know. Just asking. Because that's why the summer window wasn't as good as it should have been. Right? Because they said new manager came in through the summer. And what did Frank say? He said that they're not putting players in front of me that I want. So we're talking about a lot of money to pay him off. A lot of money, maybe if you're going to get a manager out of another club. Transfer window being thrown up in the air. I just don't know. I just don't know if that makes sense. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about they want Poch back. Like, I just think that we're not moving forward. And I think this is spot on. So everyone says I only bring up negative comments. I think this is absolutely spot on. We need a proper clear out to restart. Too many also ran players, then start the rebuild, which will take 2 to 3 years. And this is the problem. Every time you mention a player who's not good enough, look how the fan base back them. No, he's good. Then when the results keep not happening, we're not understanding why. Look how people this year have backed Telenodoba. He shouldn't be in our squad. Bergvall should be a young player getting 10 minutes. He shouldn't be starting games for Tottenham Hotspur. Gray, he shouldn't be starting games. Brennan Johnson, he's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. Richarlison, he's not good enough. Porro gets loads and loads of love. I don't think he's a good right back at all. I mean, I keep hearing he's a wing back. I don't really see a lot of what he does other than a good cross. Don't see what he does. Dogi, another one, gets talked about like he's this brilliant fullback, never fit, never, when he is fit, I don't really rate him. Vicario, don't rate him. And I guess it's all down to individual taste, but 42 defeats in 2 years surely tells a story, doesn't it? Doesn't it tell a story? I think it must tell a massive story. 42 defeats in 2 years. Look, I get it. I hate seeing Spurs like this. 6 wins, 4 draws, 6 defeats. But this is everything I predicted in the summer. I said we're going to be a win 1, lose 1, draw 1 team. And this season, our record is that. And the thing is, we're never going to be happy. Are we? We're not going to be happy because look at the players that fans were saying they didn't want. Now, fans don't buy the players. I get it. But look at how upset fans would have been with players that were available. Rashford, no one wanted him. Garnacho, didn't want him. One went to Barcelona, one went to Chelsea. Grealish, didn't want him. Playing really well at Everton. People didn't want Akliouche. Oh, he's coming from a farmers league. It's what will make us happy. There's my question. What will make us happy? Is there one manager that makes us all happy? No one can decide on the style of football they want. No one can decide on the manager they want. And obviously that's down to the board to decide these things. But the problem is we don't have a plan. So we don't really have a way of signing. So Alex, I tend to agree with you here. But we don't have a system to be buying players into because we've never built anything. And that's the problem, right? As we said, the Brightons, the Brentfords, the Bournemouths, everyone knows how they play. They've got succession plans. These are smaller clubs than us. They've got succession plans. I think the problem is, Tom, as I've said, if the board don't want to act big, then it doesn't. I don't think it matters who the manager is anymore. I never used to think like that. I've changed on that front. I never used to think like that. But I've got to that stage now where I look at it and go, fine, we bought in a Conte. Look at the players we gave him, right? You don't bring in a Conte to build something. You bring in a Conte to give him top players and to challenge, right? So that's why the whole Conte thing never was right for Spurs, right? It was never right for Spurs. Not about him as a manager. It was never right. It was never right for Tottenham, was it? It was a short-term fix, an 18-month deal. We couldn't give him the players he wanted. He wants better players than we could give him. He wants to be winning things. We're nowhere near ready for that. And that's where you are. So when we go, oh, we need a winning manager. Okay, cool. Bring in a winning manager to what? This squad. What are they winning? The Premier League? Champions League? So I think you've got to pinch of salt with a lot of it. I think pinch of salt with a lot of it is there's always going to be noise. We know that. We know there's going to be noise, but we've had Ange, Jose, Conte, Poch, Frank, AVB, this manager, that manager, Nuno, and the club is not in a good place and hasn't been for years. And I think a lot of people are using winning the Europa League and not understanding that's very different to the club being in a good place. It's good to win the trophy, but the actual club itself was not in a good place. And Lee, I don't disagree with you. If you're going to go and bring in a big name, for example, let's use the name. I don't think he'd come. Lee, by the way, if you want to jump on, feel free to send me a WhatsApp, mate. If anyone who knows me has got my if anyone's got my number and knows me, message me. You can come on. I think that Lee, let's use the example of Klopp. Now, I don't think we're going to bring in a Klopp, but let's use the example of Klopp. Okay, Spurs approach Klopp. Hey, we want you to come to Spurs and win things for us. What are they going to back him with? Richarlison's? Brennan Johnson's? Maybe then, if we started to see Klopp get rid of all these bad players, some of you would wake up to realise how bad some of these players are. Because this notion that these players are good is baffling to me. I think we've got 4 or 5 that I think you can build around. The rest, nothing there. Then you've got the question of what top players would come to Tottenham and why would they come to Tottenham? So, for example, today I've seen again that apparently it's Man City and Man United fighting it out for Semenyo. What? Why would he choose us over them? Why? And these are the questions you've got to ask yourself. These are the questions you've got to ask yourself. So Klopp rocks up to Liverpool and Klopp's given Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Fabinho, players that Liverpool can attract. Tottenham can't attract those players. We can't attract them. So again, when people are going, we need a top manager that's been there and done it. Been there and done what? Been there and done what? What are we aiming towards? Because we don't even want to build towards that. If you remember, during the Pochettino era, we built towards being a team that finished second, third, fourth. It didn't just happen. We built it. It's, as I said, that's why I'm not upset about it. When people are constantly having a go and all they want to do, as I said, unfortunately, people like Matt and Sam, they just want a point score because they're not real fans that care about Spurs moving forward. All this point scoring stuff is why I don't do the panel shows anymore. It's all silly. Oh, your club's crap. My club's crap. Crap. You said this. You're in the mud. What does it do? What does it matter who's been right or wrong in the past about anything? We've all been right and we've all been wrong about things. We've got so many fans, they can't stop talking about Ange. You look in the chat, can't stop talking about Ange. Ange. It's got nothing to do with this football club now. But this is what people want. Point scoring. Doesn't do anything. I want to know what's going on. Show me. Forget who the manager is right now. Show me in the window. Back the manager to the point where you go, come on, mate, you've been backed. Show us. What are you building? Show us. But we won't do that. So it can't stop talking about him. I mean, I don't know who felt what 22 league defeats in a season. You felt optimistic, sure, but you're just going around in circles. He's not here. He had a good cup run. No one can doubt that. But in the league, he was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. But it's not about Ange. It's not about Ange. Spurs have put into place this new structure. CEO. I'll start with CEO. I should start higher than that. Non-exec director, replacing Levy. New board. New CEO. New director of football combination. New medical staff. New manager. New coaches. But that's not going to, you're not going to bear the fruit of that in 4 months. You're not going to bear the fruit of that. You need to see 2-3 years. You need to see the windows. And I don't know if we're ready for that. As I said, moving forward, I promise whoever the next manager is, I will get behind that manager as well, because I am bored of this constant changing. I'm just so bored of it. See, look, this is all it is. It's just Ange. I don't understand these. I don't support Ange. I support Tottenham. People have just got to stop. He won a cup. So did One Day Ramos. Should we bring One Day Ramos back? It's the constant comparing is, don't know what it's doing for anyone. I genuinely don't know. The constant comparing. After 16 games last year, okay, sure, but after 16 games last year, we had Sonny fit, Kulu fit, Madison fit, Solanke fit. We had the players the manager bought fit and playing and ready. And dude, I'm just going to say nicely, one more comment about Ange. I'm just going to get rid of you. It's really boring now. It's so boring. Like it's honestly really, really boring. And I can tell that you're not. I'll tell you what, let me go and see if I can find out where his account was created from. I'm going to guess Australia. Let's see if we can find out. Because I've seen managers win trophies before at Spurs and get sacked. This is not a new thing. But this seems to be new to these people that can only say Ange. It's so boring. It is, isn't it? Isn't it really boring now? Oh, I see. Hang on. My bad. He created the account yesterday. My bad. Let's get rid of him. It's a troll. He created the account yesterday, so it's a troll. It's so, mate, honestly, isn't it so boring? I'll tell you what, let's all bring up George Graham every time someone mentions Ange. George Graham won a cup, then started doing poorly. He was sacked. Move on. Ramos won a trophy, started poorly, and the next season was sacked. This isn't new. And this is, I can tell by comments who supported Spurs for how long, because people don't seem to know our history. Look, as I said, this is not about a manager, guys. This is not about a manager. I'm just at the point where I'm struggling on YouTube. I'll tell you what, I'm struggling on YouTube because whatever subjects we try and talk about, all people want to do is point score and talk about Ange. It's look. Unfortunately, football YouTube's become that, hasn't it? It's become point scoring. Every thumbnail, so-and-so's in the mud, so-and-so buries so-and-so. It's just all so stupid. It's all really childish. That's why I stopped doing panel shows, guys. That's why I stopped going on all the other panel shows with other fans from other fan bases. It just got silly. You couldn't actually have a normal conversation. I remember when we were down the pub back in the day, you used to have really good football conversation with people. Now it's just, but you said this last December. And you're like, things change. Things change. Can you imagine being in a business scenario and people going, yeah, but you said this? Just wouldn't happen. You go, okay, let's talk about it. Let's discuss. Let's move on. Look, I know it's not good. And I know we're going to have exactly the same Saturday. And unless we pull off a miracle, I can't see us. I can't see us beating Liverpool. I'd love to beat Liverpool. I can't see it. Let me know. Does anyone think we can beat Liverpool? I don't. Listen, I think it's going to be a real tough game. And I do think they will move him on. Unfortunately, I wouldn't, but I do think they will, guys. And this is what people don't listen to. They're so busy just trying to talk about Ange because I didn't like Ange that they don't listen to what I actually say. I think he will be moved on, but I wouldn't, because I need us to build something, not rebuild. There's no rebuild. We haven't done anything. We need to build something. And that the manager needs to be built. The manager needs time to build. And Perchie said something really good last week. And he said, wouldn't it be nice to be able to judge a manager with their own squad? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice to judge a manager that's had 4 or 5 windows, got their own squad, and we go, right, come on, look, come on. Most of this 11 is yours now. Most of this 25-man squad is yours. You got rid of Deadwood you didn't want. You bought players for your own system. Right. And that's the difference. The last manager had 2 years with his own players and his own squad and his own system being implemented. This manager's had 16 games. 1 transfer window. And I just worry about where we're heading as a club if we don't want to give people time. That's what I worry about. That's my worry. It's not, oh my God, Frank has to stay at all accounts. Frank will be sacked at some point and he will get a massive payout, right? He'll get a massive payout. And you know what? I think he'll be all right. He'll be all right in life. He'll get another job somewhere. He'll do a good job, as is the Tottenham curse. Well, I mean, that's not on Frank, really, is it? That's on the board, isn't it? That's on the board and Paratici in that. That's the board and Paratici. They're the ones that have to bring the quality in. Thomas Frank's not signing them, mate. If we sacked him tomorrow, who would you? As I've said, if we sack him tomorrow, I genuinely don't care who we bring in. If we sack him tomorrow, it shows me that we have no patience as a football club and that we're not going to back anyone. At that stage, I genuinely don't care who the manager of Tottenham Hotspur is. At that stage, it will be the next manager. There will be no opinion from me of love him or hate him. None of that. It'll be like, cool, welcome to the club. Because people just get silly, don't they? Not you, Mitch. People just get silly. Your manager. It's like, what? Your man. It's our manager. It's our manager. I really want the focus to be on the board. I really want the focus to be on. Do you know what? Paratici gets away with everything, doesn't he? Him and Lang get away with everything. They get away scot-free with everything. I'm questioning Paratici for years. This squad is a squad him and Lang have built. And I think this is a great point, Aaron. I think this is a great point. I'm not sure what real quality players we can attract of real quality. I think we buy either young and up-and-coming players or players at the end of their contract or loans. But what quality players can we bring in? That's the question, right? And that's what we need to look at. That is where we need to see in the window, what have these guys done? Now, do you know what? You know what? If in this window, Spurs go out and buy two really good players, really good, then you start to go, there's some real pressure on you now, mate. Look, you've got another couple of good players here. If Tottenham do what they normally do, Tottenham buy underwhelming players, young players, and then we go on, manager, perform like a seal. Then it doesn't really matter who the manager is, right? So I think I've just hit a brick wall. I think I've hit a brick wall as a fan over the years now of just not wanting to go round in circles. Not wanting to go around in circles. And in some ways, I'll be honest, in some ways, I think it would be easier if Frank wasn't here, so that even as a YouTuber, I can just start again and have no opinion on the new manager. Because the he said, she said nonsense is so boring. It's so boring. There's this belief for me that we are bigger than we are. And nothing I've seen has changed that. Nothing I've seen has changed that. And we all know that we were at that pivotal point in the Pochettino era where we didn't build from what was really good. You know, I was always taught that you strengthen from a position of strength. You don't wait till you're weak to strengthen. And unfortunately, Spurs have always had the motto the other way around, right? We should have been strengthening when we had that really good team under Poch. You strengthen when you've got Kane and Son in their prime. But now we haven't. So now we're strengthening from a position of weakness. So now it's going to have to be about, okay, scouts, directors of football, what have you managed to come up with? What have you managed to come up with? And you're going to see a very different Savva after this transfer window. I will keep the faith. It's the 16th. I will keep the faith until after this window has gone. Because most part of me, let's be fair, I'll be in denial for a little bit. The fan of me that supported Spurs for 40 odd years, I'm almost know what to expect I almost know what to expect in the transfer window. I just want to see something different. And I want to have that hope, that belief that, okay, this is new. Vinay talks a great game, right? And the owners talk a great game. And Paratici's talked a great game. Okay. Let's see you implement said game. And I think you will agree with me on that, right? Is that this January coming up, We've got to see something. Now, not loads. I agree. Like Sean said yesterday, if people are expecting 4 or 5 top, it's not going to happen. But we've got to see something. We've got to see something. But this is absolutely true, isn't it? The club, if this is what you're saying, Fab said, this is absolutely true, right? It is going to take time to get the club to the required level. It will take time, and it will take multiple transfer windows while winning. It will. That's the thing. It will. We don't want to hear it. Sometimes the truth isn't nice to hear, but is it not true? Does anyone truly believe that this is going to be fixed in 1 year? Does anyone not think this is going to be a number of windows, a number of years? Again, I'm not talking about manager. I'm talking about the football club. That bit, well, we're going to win, we're going to lose, we're going to draw, right? We're going to win, we're going to lose, we're going to draw. That's what we are. Yeah. Frank must have explained, but Frank also said to us in the summer, didn't he? He's not got the players he wanted. He said that. I don't think that's them talking the window down at all. I think that's them being honest. I didn't read that as them talking the window down. They've literally said this is going to take years to get us to where we want to be. And it absolutely is. It's going to take us years. I'm genuinely concerned by those that don't understand that. This club has been poorly run for, let's be fair, we say since the Poch era, even during the Poch era, Poch built a good team, wasn't allowed to build a good squad. We've done so much damage to this football club over the years that it's going to take somebody a long time. And unfortunately, the fans have run out of patience, which I completely get. But unfortunately, the one thing we need now is patience. And I know it's backwards. I know it's not right. I know it's annoying, but that's where we are. If anybody thinks that we're about to have a big January, give it this. Listen, I don't think it's about having a big January. I think it's about showing us something. Show us something. Even if you bring in one player, make it a player that makes a difference. That's the bit for me. That's the bit for me. Doesn't have to be an amazing window where 3-4 players come in, but it needs to be, if it's one player who comes in, the player has to make a difference. He has to be better than what we've got. Not another squad player, not a backup left back. It has to be somebody who comes in and we go bang, straight in the first 11. He makes a difference. That's what the signings need to be now. Bang, you're better than what we've got. Go, boom, boom. But will we see it? I don't know. I don't know. I can only give them the benefit of the doubt because it's the first window since Levy went. But it will speak volumes. As we've said before, I want to see from the first day, the first 2 days of the window, who are we bidding for? Who have we been speaking to? What was the plan? That's what I want to see as a football fan. That's what I want to see. Because players don't start getting talked to in January. Agents are talked to from September. Agents are being spoken to now. I want to see from the first few days of that transfer window, bang, we're in. Show us that you've changed. Show us. Show us. Act like a big club. We've got loads of games, 7 games in January, maybe. Show us. Get them in early. Get that player in early doors. Get them in early doors. Have them in for the January games. You got 2 Champions League games in January. There could be the difference between staying in the Champions League or not. You'll have an FA Cup game. I think you've got 4 league games. It's a big month. Just quickly, dude. All right. You've posted this sort of same thing about 8 times, dude. I'll give you one more chance. Please stop. You've asked me about young players a million times. No one's talking about young players. Can you just stop, please, mate? Thank you. I don't like blocking people, but it does get slightly frustrating reading the same thing. Football Heritage 632. A really good question, Danny. Let's have a look. 632. Let's see how good the question was. Lots of pressure now. 632. So, say we have 2 to 3 seasons of finishing 9th, 10th, 11th during this rebuild. It's not a rebuild, it's a build. What players of quality are going to come to us if we're not qualifying for Europe? Not a dig, just a question. Therein is the problem, right? Is if you want to try and build something, then you're not going to get top players while you're building, but you have to bring in sensible players. They've got to bring in the right players. How did Villa do it? Danny, ask yourself this question. How did Villa do it? Villa didn't sign top players. They signed sensible players. Newcastle didn't sign top players. They signed sensible players. Now, we don't know, right, how long something will take. We don't know which manager it will be. I get it, right? We're a frustrated fan base. All of us. We're all frustrated. Don't think just because I YouTube about it every day that I'm not frustrated with it. That was last night, mate. That was last night. I think we're all frustrated, right? We're all frustrated. But I just don't know where we go from here. And that is why I'm clinging on for dear hope that this window we see something. And if we don't, then I'm really not bothered what happens with a football club anymore. I'm not. If we don't see something this window that really shows that they've put thought and effort to get good players to this club, then I don't care. I won't care who the manager is for the second half of the season. I won't care what competitions we're in or out of. It won't really matter because it will show that we've got no ambition. Every window is an opportunity to tweak. Of course, the summer window is a lot easier than January. Every window is a chance to tweak. Even if it's one thing or 2 things, tweak. Just the small tweaks make a massive difference. For example, do you think if we had someone like Lookman on our left wing right now, we'd had Lookman for these last 20 games, that things wouldn't be a bit different? We wouldn't have had a different way of playing with different option to the right and the left, more goals, more assists. Just using him. I'm just using him, by the way, because that's not a top player that's going to cost 100 million. That's a player that should be well within our reach. And that's all I want to see. I've never asked, guys. I get this a lot. I've never asked for Spurs to be able to sign world-class players because I understand what Tottenham are, right? I've never thought we're a club that can sign world-class players. I just want us to sign sensibly. I just want us to sign sensibly. 1 second. Sorry, I heard a scream. I thought something had happened. That's all I've ever asked, guys. I've just asked for Spurs to be consistent and sign sensibly. But that always gets taken out of, Savva wants world class. Just sensible. And I always use sensible clubs, by the way. I use clubs like Villa as a basis of, well, why couldn't we have bought the sensible signings they did? Why did we go for Bergvall and Gray? They're going for a Nana and Kamara. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just levels. There's levels to this game. And That's me basing us against Villa. That's not me going us against City and Arsenal and Liverpool. That's me going against Villa, who 6-7 years ago were in the Championship playoff final. So that's all I've asked. That's all I've ever asked as a Spurs fan. Yeah, and I know someone asked this, so thanks for answering that, Daryl. Yeah, someone said, "What is point scoring?" No, yeah, it's fans going at each other, think they're better. For me, look, somebody might have said last year, "I really rate Brennan Johnson." Over time, they might have gone, "Actually, no, I don't." You're allowed to do that, but in the world of football, it's like you can't do that. It's flip flop. You're in mud. Blah blah. It's like, oh, it's too much. It's just too much. And there's a good point as well, saying that Frank wanted Rodgers, wanted Gibbs White, Savio, Eze, and Buema. Right. So we've got a manager who clearly knows what he wants, but can the club deliver that? Now, we saw that Eze, as soon as Arsenal came in, gone. Right? Gibbs White was a strange situation, wasn't it? Because of his girlfriend or fiance or wife and the pregnancy. You know, Semenyo, we'd all take him, and Bremo, we'd all take him. You're right. He's clearly got good talent ID, but can we attract the players that he wants? And this is why I have these conversations all the time when people say just put the money down. It's not that simple. You're up against other clubs. Yeah, I mean, imagine how different Tottenham would look right now if we had Rodgers and Semenyo in that front line. And this is the difference, right? If you had Rodgers and Semenyo in that front line, our attacking players better, our assists are better, our goals are better, our threat is better, and we're not sitting where we are. But we went lazy and got Mawani, who wasn't even fit on at the end of the window. Right? We didn't bring in players of this ilk. And that's the problem. That is truly the problem for me. That can we attract them? And that's what we've got to see. Can we attract them? Lots of people talking about Semenyo now. I don't think we're going to get him, guys. Players like that. I'd love all three of them. Stiller, Barrios, Larson, all three of them. Again, this just isn't true. You have to have the right scenario. Money talks, but other people have money as well. So money can talk, but if you go and offer Semenyo and so are Man City, Man United, and Liverpool, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? This is okay if no one else wants the player, but as soon as you get into a battle, we're not the big club. I just can't take these questions seriously. He's been there 4 months. He's been there 4 months. He's lost the three main creators in Maddison, Son, and Kulu. He's got no left winger. He's got, again, we can't stop talking about the difference, right, between the two. Ange Postecoglou had James Maddison, who for me is our best player, Son, who scores loads of goals and gets loads of assists, Kulu, who can carry the ball, and we haven't replaced them with people of the same caliber. Got to have some time. You've got to have some time. He's had 4 months and hardly any time on the training ground. We play every 3 days. Play every 3 days. Had hardly any time. It will be the same for any new manager that comes in. We're just so reactive. Our fan base, I say, is just too reactive. I'd swap Porro for all of them. I don't think Porro's this great player loads of people think. I genuinely don't. Porro can go in a heartbeat. I think this club needs 2 new fullbacks. I think this club needs a goalkeeper. By the way, this is just for the first 11. I think we need a new goalkeeper, 2 new fullbacks, 2 new midfielders, a left winger and a striker. How many players is that? 7? I genuinely don't think we've got a good first 11 at all. We've got people like Dylan going, where's the patterns of play? Patterns of play with Gray and Sarr and Bergvall and Bentancur. What patterns of play are people expecting to see? I wanted to see the patterns of play with the Kulus and the Madisons and the Suns and the Solankis. That's who I wanted to see. I mean, I didn't compare the two. I just don't think Porro's all that. I've watched Porro for years, and everyone keeps giving him excuse after excuse after excuse. I think he's all right. He's okay. He's another one. He's okay. He's okay. Too many bad games for me I've seen from him over the years. Too many. I could say what about every team? That's just unrealistic. I don't know what that means. You've got to give me some context there. And this is the problem. I want to be able to judge a manager against bringing his players in and creating his vision. I'm so disillusioned with this squad, guys. I really am. Sorry if I seem really downbeat. I'm so disillusioned with this squad, and I'm so disillusioned with how many fans think these players are capable of playing good football. But we'll see. In January, you get 1, maybe 2. In the summer, you get 3, 4. And now you start going, okay, right. All right, you've had 2 summers, you've had a January. Let's start seeing it. You've got another January, another summer. But we've given a manager one window where he said that the recruitment team weren't aligned with him. We've given them one window of 4 months, and then we're going, why should the manager get patience? I mean, it's just nearly all of them. I'm at the stage where, I mean, I brought this up yesterday. Let me see if I can bring this up. I brought this up yesterday where, let me show you. From the squad that is fit at the moment, these are the only 5 I would keep. Now, that doesn't mean I'd actively sell everyone else, but these are the only 5 that I really rate. One of them is 30 and Paulinho, who's on loan. One of them is Simmons, who needs time to settle in. And then you've got 2 centre-halves and a right winger. I'm sorry. If anyone wants to argue that against, that's fine. By the way, there's no goalkeeper in there. Don't rate our goalkeepers. I don't rate our fullbacks. I don't think any of the midfielders are any good other than Paulinho, who is good at what he's good at. Simmons, I still think, needs time. Kudus, I rate. I don't rate any of the strikers, any of the left wingers, any of the fullbacks, any of the number 8s. But we want to see patterns of play. Sure. Mate, for me, Rinketic, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're well. Not spoken to you for ages. For me, mate, I don't rate him or Vicario. These, as I said, we've bought so poorly over the years that we're left arguing, aren't we? Would you start Bentancur or Sarr? I mean, I don't really want any of them. Would you start Kinski or Vicario? Meh. Is it Tell or Odeberg? Like, I don't. And this may sound harsh. Now, I would add James Maddison, but he's obviously injured. James Maddison, let me put him in, because James Maddison is somebody I would keep. I'm not saying I play him there. I'm just putting him in. James Maddison is someone I would keep, and possibly Kulu I'd keep. I like him. He's okay. I don't go overboard about him. Right. Other than that, I'll say this again. If any of the other players that are not on this page, if I woke up tomorrow and they said so-and-so's been sold, I wouldn't care for a single one of them. Is that harsh? I mean, tell me in the chat, is that harsh? I wouldn't care with any of them that are not on this page if they were sold. Destiny, Porro, Bergvall, Gray, Sarr, Suma, Bentancur, Tell, Odeberg, Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, Mawani can go back, Scarlett, Valise can go, Ben Davis can go. Dragon, I genuinely don't, and I think this is the problem, right? There are people like me that will say, listen, I say this off the basis of watching nearly all of these players for the last 2 years and lose game after game after game after game after game after game. But what you'll get is you'll get the people that will look at this and go, oh, Savva hates everyone. Oh my God, he doesn't rate Gray, or he doesn't rate Bergvall. He doesn't rate it. No, Alex, because I don't think they're that good. Why would I care? And this goes down again. It's about standards, right? It's about standards. Porro can be a Spain international all he wants. When Porro plays for Spain, Spain have about 85% of the ball and hardly any defending to do. He just gets to play. At Tottenham, you see he doesn't have that, and you see what a limited player he is. Jed Spence, he's okay. Why would I care if he's sold? What, you can't buy another defender as good as Jed Spence? Better than Jed Spence? But this is the difference, right? People like Alex, look what they do. Spence and Porro. We start doing this and we go, Bergvall. Oh my God. And what about Gray? And then what has anyone seen in these players that makes them go, yeah? What has anyone seen in them? So these are the only ones in the current squad that I would care about. But by the way, even Paulinho, if Spurs wanted to go and buy a younger version of a Paulinho or a different type of 6, I'm fine with that as well. I love Paulinho, but he is on loan, so it's hard to include him in this. And you know what? This isn't dependent on who the manager is. This is my belief on the squad. And when I look at this squad, look how many of you in the chat are saying you agree. When I look at this squad, then I look at the fan expectation. People going, should be battering Fulham 3-0. Why? Which teams are battering Fulham 3-0? Why on earth should we? Should be battering Monaco. Why? Should be battering Bodo. Why? Why? What players are people looking at that are that good that we should just be battering people? And this is the big point, Paul. This is absolutely on the money. This is where it comes down to. If Spurs don't buy better players, then it doesn't matter who the manager is. If we don't want to buy better players than what we've got, we're never going to improve. But you look immediately, as soon as I said that, look how Alex got so... What do you mean? Porro, Spence. Spence is all right. Is anyone watching Spence and going, oh my God, this guy is undroppable? He's all right. He's okay. One game he's good. Next game he's not. I watch fullbacks across this league all year that are so much better than what we've got at fullback. But our fans won't hear it. I watch Fulham with Tete and Robinson as their fullbacks. I'd take them over Destiny and Porro all day long. Solid fullbacks that do their job. Cash and Digne all day long. Rico Henry from Brentford all day long. Now notice, I've gone to clubs that aren't even big clubs here. I've not even gone crazy. I've not even gone to the biggest clubs and gone, yeah, I want Cucurella and I want Reece James. No. So for me, unfortunately, that's only my opinion on the squad. And if somebody can tell me a time I've rated those players, I've said I don't, feel free to challenge me. But this is my problem. This is what I've said for years, right? Now, should it be finishing 17th? No. But for me, when people go top 4 squad, I'm like, what on earth? Where? How? Would you take them fullbacks if we're playing as wingbacks? What, Destiny and Spence and Porro? So I didn't say anything about Tete getting into the Netherlands squad. He's better right back than Pedro Porro. And Robinson, I didn't say about injury prone. He's a better footballer than Udogie. This is the thing. We don't seem to have. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to get in the Netherlands squad at left back. Haven't they got like Ake, Mickey van der Ven? Like, I don't. I, and I will die on this hill. I think until we start signing better players. But you know the funny thing. Again, I watched him the other day for Villa. Looked excellent at left back. Looked excellent at left back. I've never seen that from Udogie. I watch Udogie and I'm always like, yeah. You know, I think the difficult thing is, Paul, I think a lot of people don't really watch any football outside of the Premier League. Alex, then you clearly didn't listen, mate. I didn't say get them. I just said they're better. How have Fulham got better fullbacks than Tottenham Hotspur? Yep. Tyreek Mitchell, much better than Udogie. I would. I mean, he's had a massive injury, but it depends out whether or not it was a one-off or not. You know, Wolves scouted Ait-Nouri, didn't they? These clubs, these lower level clubs apparently seem to find these players that are good, solid players. Every one of our players seems to be hit and miss. I don't know. It's another, as I said in the title, more changes. Look, it's another person coming in. And if anyone doesn't know what he's talking about, he is talking about this. Saying that Tottenham are in advanced talks to name Manchester City executive Rafi Mawson as head of football operations. Again, it's a lot of changes in the background. It's a lot of changes. And that now needs to change. That needs to be reflected onto the pitch. As I said, new CEO, new executive chairman, new board, new director of football, new coach, new manager, new scouts, new medical staff. Brilliant. That's got to translate onto the pitch with signing better footballers. Otherwise, what are we doing? Now, I've just seen a player mentioned that is a very good player. Yes, I would absolutely take this guy. I think he's really good. Been watching him in Germany. Absolutely take him too. Again, absolutely, John. Absolutely. How did Bournemouth... do you know what? Some of these players, by the way, though, they're not these great, big, sexy names. But they do a good job. They do a solid job. We have players who... Porro has a great game, 2 bad ones. Udogie has a great game, 3 bad ones. We never seem to get consistency. Oh, God, we're back to this. Dude, we've done all this. We've done all this. Again, I told you, these fans can't stop talking about Ange. It's so boring. He's a good player. I just want to... Whoever, as I said, whoever the manager is, I can't keep saying, when people like Dennis come out with those sort of things, they don't listen. Whoever the manager is, this isn't about Frank. This is about Tottenham. Whoever it is, scout properly, give the managers proper players. That's all I ask. Well, there you go. So he's not injury prone. He's just had a big injury. Yeah, difference. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. At some point, I expect Mickey van der Ven to leave. Again, how long has he been here? Have we built around it? Nope. We've seen all this before. When you buy it, we have some good players. We don't build around them. They leave. We start again. I worry for the club. I worry for the club. Let me do some super chats. First of all, big up to Tony Rodriguez. Thank you very much, Tony. Really appreciate you. Always very generous to me. So thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. Carrying on the super sticker train. DB forever. My man, how you doing? I hope you are well. Really, really appreciate you, DB. It's very generous as always. Henry Wrong TV has said, off topic, but World Cup 26 predictions, dark horse. Oh, God knows. Do you know what? I looked at the World Cup groups the other day. God, there's not one exciting group, is there? And you know why? Because they're just letting more and more teams come into the tournament. No exciting groups. Where's your group with Germany versus Spain or something? But I don't know. I'd need time to think about that. Connor, very generous, my man. So you know my thoughts on Ange, but am I totally wrong about Frank? I really do think it's the players. Started this week it started with weak Son, in my opinion. They're all weak as piss. Look, I think the squad is poor. I think the manager's struggling with the squad he's got. I think the whole thing's a bit of a shit show, unfortunately. And let's just hope he's backed, right? Let's just hope he's backed. Big up to Jordan Coys. Said, last season, all I heard from Ange fans was, what's the difference between 17th and finishing 12th? We are currently 11th with an 8th place at best squad, but because we ain't playing tiki-taka, our fans don't want patience. And again, this is the hilarious thing, right? Like, you know, when you had like Matt in the chat earlier, right? You had Matt in the chat earlier doing all this. Matt's the one every week going, it doesn't matter if we lose. Every week, and it doesn't matter we've lost. If the manager 3 to 5 years. Now it's Frank, doesn't want it. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. But hey, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Big up, Jordan. You're always very generous to me. So thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. As is Philip Randall. Thank you. And gave a massive donation the other day. Philip, we will be doing, not Philip, sorry, everyone, we will be doing a charity stream in the next couple of days. Because we're on Monday, we've got the charity walk. At the moment, no one has messaged to say they're going to come and do it with me. So at the moment, it looks like it's going to be me going around with loads and loads of sandwiches and blankets and stuff, giving them out in London. But hopefully someone joins me. Thank you, Philip. Really appreciate you, my man. Thank you very much. Jordan, very generous again. Said, when most of our current players eventually leave us, we will see just how good they are by the clubs that go in for them. Bang on. Bang on. I highly doubt Bayern or Real are queuing up for them. And absolutely, Jordan. We will see when we buy better players how bad the other ones were and where these players go. Big up to you, Jordan. Such a good point and completely agree with you. Big up to my man Igor. He said, Savva, with the fans, it's always, oh, your manager. Never Tottenham first. Point scoring to the fullest. Mate, and you know what? I used to be involved in all that, but I'm so bored of it. You're right. I'm so bored of... Like, I used to go on all these panel shows and it would be like, what did you think of the game? Like, yeah, we was okay. What do you mean you was okay? You was shit. Oh, God. Okay. Straight away. And you got people in the show last night, Spurs 5 in the chat, people in the chat going, go on, cook him. What do you mean cook him? What? You can't have sensible... It's just ridiculous. And it is what it is. But thank you, Igor. Really appreciate that. And he's come back in again and said, thoughts on Igor Pichal from Marseille. Yeah, I've always liked Pichal. I've not seen how he's got on this year. I always liked him. I thought it was a really good, sensible signing by Marseille. Let me know, Igor. How is he getting on? I don't know. I really, really don't know. See, but again, I don't think this is about having an elite manager for VDV to stay. It's got to be about building a squad for him to stay, right? Surely we saw this with all the other players that left. You can't just turn around and go, right, there you go. There's Antonio Conte. Oh, I'll stay. You've got to put the players around it, right? You've got to put the players around him. It's not just the manager, and this is the problem. This is the problem that unfortunately fake fans like this don't understand. They don't understand. We've got to build. Tottenham need to build massively. Whoever the manager is, we need to build. Build. No one wants to build. No one wants to build. They say they want to build. Oh, I only want to build with this manager. Well, unfortunately, that's not how life works, right? Unfortunately. Now, by the way, as well, I'll tell you how you know, right? As I said earlier in the show, look at the correlation. All the fans that thought they knew better, that wanted to see, oh, Bentancur, Paulinho doesn't work. Look how our points and the number of goals we've conceded has dropped off since he went away from Paulinho and Bentancur. But everyone wanted to see Gray. Everyone wanted to see Bergvall, Sarr. When those players play, look how many goals we concede to when the other two play. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. We had one of the best defenses in the country before that happened. Just saying. But everyone, maybe the manager had it right. But yeah, mate, Corey, I just wish everyone would stop talking about it, mate, to be honest. Like, I just genuinely wish we could do some shows and have some football chats without having to talk about Ange Postecoglou. It's really boring now. We've done it to death in the summer. We're now in a new season. Thomas Frank's our manager. Let's talk about Thomas Frank. And you know what? When the next manager comes in, we're going to be talking about that manager as well. And absolutely this, Clay. Stability. We need some stability. Everything changed in the summer. Now let it take its course. Now let it take its course. Right? But listen, as I've said all along, when he's sacked. We go again. But again, the same fans will be after 4 months. If they don't like what they see, will want him out. And at some point, whoever it is, we've got to, you know. But again, this is, I can't take this notion, right? I'm not saying he's listening to the fans. What I'm saying is he changed it up away from those two to go more attacking. But it showed that he played those two to stop us leaking goals. Like, we're just at this stage having a go at him for everything. Again, mate, you're a dick. You're such a dick. You're such a dick. Why didn't you say this under Ange? What top manager player wants to play for Ange? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Didn't Christian Eriksen go and play for Thomas Frank? No? It's just ridiculous. You have changed your tune on everything you said last season. You're not really a Spurs fan. You're an Ange fan. I knew it all along. Everyone in my chat knew it. We all knew it. We all knew it. Right? We all knew you weren't a Spurs fan, that you were an Ange fan. The way you talked all last season, it's all changed this season, isn't it? It's all changed. SOF said the Jose and Conte only fanboys didn't stick around this long. Those guys need. Oh, mate, it's painful. Do you know what? I'll end the show on this. I said to my uncle earlier, I said, do you know what I want? I just want Spurs to go back to being a football club. Right? I want Spurs to go back to being a football club. Not fans that support a manager or fans that support a player. We've had all the Sun fans. We had all the Ndombele fans, right? We've had the Ange fans, the Conte fans. Can we just go back to being a proper football club? Like, where there's no drama? Can we just do that? I don't know. Can we do that? Can we go back to that? Can we stop being a club full of drama? Can we stop being a club that supports a manager or a player? We had it for years, didn't we? We had the cult of Ndombele, the cult of Son. I loved Son as much as the next person, but with Spurs, even now, look how much Spurs official talk about Son. He's gone. Look how much this week we talked about Son. Son, I saw something earlier today, I think, about Son on Spurs official. If I'm not wrong, I might be making that up. I'm pretty sure I did. You're like, we don't get over things. Half the fan base can't get over Ange. Some are still talking about Conte. Like, at what point? Look at this, right? This sums up this sums up. No, he's not a Spurs fan. He's an Ange fan, right? Look at this. This sums up what I'm talking about in a nutshell. Ready? I'll just show this for a few seconds. Look at this. An original Spurs documentary coming soon. Like, what are we doing here? And the documentary is called what? Hong-Min's Son, The Homecoming. I mean, what are we doing? Like, we are just so emotionally involved with everything. Son, Ange, Conte, Jose, Kane. When's Kane coming back? Poch, please bring back. Oh my God. I don't support a manager. I don't support a player. I support Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur will be here when I'm dead, when you're all dead. They were here before we were all born. Right? That's our club. We don't move on. And you're right. You're absolutely right. The club itself hasn't moved on, and then the fans don't move on. It that it should be. It should be, Alan, shouldn't it? It should be about the future. It should be about the future. There's nothing wrong with reminiscing about a player. Like someone says to me, "What was Ginobili?" Yeah, Ginobili was great, amazing, lovely. I don't sit here every day and go, "Oh, Ginobili." It's just weird. Yesterday, which manager unites us? Poch. Ugh, Poch. Which striker should we sign? You asked Lubo. Kane. Oh my God. Like, can't we move? Like, we have, as I said, we've got no plan. We have got no plan as a club, as a fan. And that's what they've got to show me. And that's how I'm going to wrap up the show. They have got to show us there's a plan moving forward that doesn't involve Poch, that doesn't involve Kane, that doesn't involve Son. Let's have a plan. Let's create new heroes. Let's buy new heroes. But we're so stuck. We're so stuck on loop. And that's why we want every manager to go, because they're not Poch. Not doing what Poch did. Not doing what Poch did. Look at the team Poch had. But Ange won a trophy. So did one day Ramos. Right? No one's talking about him. No one's talking about George Graham. We've moved on. No one's talking about Terry Venables. We've moved on. I don't want to watch a video about the homecoming of Heung-min Son. Legend of the club. Thank you for everything you've done. But can we exactly bring back Greasy? Do you know what I mean? It's guys, it's just too much. Danny, you're right. Danny, I heard Dietrich say earlier on the stream that, like, he said, yeah, Frank, when he gives an interview, doesn't inspire. Ange made you feel motivated. I'm like, what? Like, again, we can't talk about one without the other. There's no point. If me saying, yeah, I don't rate Solanke, I'm not going to say I don't rate him, but Kane. I'm not going to talk about Kane. We know he's not Kane. There's no point talking about that. What are we doing moving forward? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Guys, girls, I'm sure Spurs will do something else tomorrow to embarrass us. Mickey van der Ven today on... I haven't even talked about that. Mickey van der Ven. I'm really not. He's done absolutely nothing to show I'm being harsh on him. He's a Tottenham Hotspur player. I've not seen anything that makes me rate him. Guys, girls, we'll talk about Mickey van der Ven tomorrow. I didn't get around to it today. Big up to Sub Sanderson. He said, Frank may not be the man overall, but we have to give him time and the tools to absolutely prove his position. It is up to the board to back him. Absolutely. And do you know the funny thing with this, right? Do you know the funny thing with this, Sub Sanderson? Thank you so much for that. Everyone always goes, Frank's not the guy to win things. Who said he has to be? No one said he has to be here forever. Maybe he might be the guy to just steady the ship for a few years because we've been an absolute shit show. I don't know. I don't know. But everyone goes, oh my God, he won't win things. Well, how many have? Anyway, much love. Let me see if I can send you over to anyone. Who is live at 7:15? Where are we? Bum, bum, bum. Let's see if there's any Spurs creators going. I can't see any Spurs creators going. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you over to LB. I like LB. If you get over to LB for Man City, you don't have to, but just say Savva raid or FHTV raid. Savva the Romero and Son hater. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. God, I remember when I had my first beer as well. Anyway, guys, much love. Take care. Thank you for all those sensible in the chat. Sorry about idiots like Matt and Sam. They are always going to be idiots, unfortunately. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.